video 3 in our 6-part series. In the last 2 videos, we're focused on some really important aspects of member retention. In the first video, we discussed why it's really important to switch focus from just focusing on sales in your health club to focusing equal attention on member retention. The next video, video number 2, we focused on the financial impact of poor retention, and we found out how little improvements to your member retention can have a really sizable impact on your bottom line. So today we're going to dive a little deeper into the area of member retention, and we're going to look at some of the key member retention principles. Now, from modelling really successful health clubs that have high retention, researchers have been able to identify some common principles or key principles that all these clubs have in common. And what does this allow us to do? It allows us to model or copy these same principles and strategies that really successful high retention clubs have in common. So by copying these strategies, you as a health club manager or owner can probably expect very similar, if not the same results. So let's get into it. Let's have a look at some of these key principles that these high retention clubs have in common. And the first area is what we call focus. So clubs with high retention, high member retention, tend to have a really strong focus on member retention, right from top management through to their staff. And usually the first place to start with this is by measuring monthly and annual retention scores. If you don't measure your retention, how do you know if you're making improvements? How do you know if the strategies you're using and implementing are making a real difference to your member retention? So that's where all good high member retention clubs start. If you're not currently measuring your member retention, I'd suggest this is the first place you should start. But I'm sure if you are watching this video, you're the type of person that's pretty proactive and you're likely to have this area covered. So if you do, well done. If you don't, make sure this is the first area that you really start to look at. If you do need some resources or information on how to calculate member retention, you can come and have a look at our website, mobilefit.com.au, or you can call our office or email us at info@mobilefit.com.au. Alright, so the next topic we're going to discuss is the area of activating members. So a lot of new members have little experience, but what the research is showing is that we really need to be proactive in our approach to retention. And a lot of clubs continue to take the reactive route to trying to retain members. And this is usually by sending members a postcard or a letter after they haven't been coming for a significant period of time. Maybe it's a month, maybe it's 6 weeks, whatever. However, what the research is saying is that there's a very strong correlation between facility utilization in the first month and member retention. Essentially what it means is that members that do a high number of workouts in the first month tend to have a much higher annual membership retention rate. So what the key is to really activate members in that first month. Members who do less than 4 workouts for the first month tend to have a membership retention of an annual rate of around 52 to 55%, which is pretty poor in terms of member retention. Those, however, that just do 2 workouts per week, so a total of 8 workouts for the first month, their member retention is around 72 to 75%, which is much, much higher. So the key is to getting members on that path to 2 workouts per week and really getting them set in that first month. However, the most interesting statistic that I've seen in this area was that only 6% of members with low usage of the facility in the first month can actually pick up their utilization rate and hence their likelihood of being retained. So it's very important to get that first month right. So members really need to be supported adequately through that period, and often they need their hand held to make sure that they're really activated and they get that consistent facility utilization happening in the first month. Because if it doesn't happen then, it's likely not to happen at all. So that leads us to our last area we're going to touch on today, which is the area of member to trainer connection. If you have read any of the research into retention, you'll see this topic come up again and again, and how important it is to improving retention. So clubs that have strong member to trainer connection typically have a much higher retention rate. Why is this? I think it's because members that have a strong connection or relationship or rapport with their trainer are more likely to ask questions, they feel more supported, and are in a better environment to achieve that facility utilization in the first month to 3 months. They're going to have the support, the tools and the resources they need to develop the habit of regular exercise. That should be the goal for all clubs, to give members the tools to develop the habit of regular exercise. And that habit usually forms very much in that first month to 3 month period. So we really want to communicate and follow up with members early to make sure that they're feeling supported and they've got everything they need in place to achieve regular exercise in that first month or so. So that cups up the first 3 principles of retention that we're going to cover in the series. Our next video will cover some more, so we'll dive even further into some really interesting statistics and knowledge. To cap off today, we'll just recap on what we actually went through today. We've discussed the importance of measuring your retention annually and monthly, so you have a gauge of where you're going, if you're improving. The next thing we talked about was activating members and how important that first month is, and then we talked about supporting members and having strong connection between members and trainers in the facility. So we'll leave it there today. There's something for you to digest, and we'll come back next time with a further look at some further principles into member retention. See you then.